Welcome back to another episode of the Mostly True podcast. Today is we're just going to call it our season finale. So let's do a little round off. Who is on the pod today?
I'm on the pod. My name's Emily. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm also here. My name's Lainey.
And Mitch. That's right. We got all three of us on the podcast today. Sorry, I'm really excited.
I like your announcer voice.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. And we also have Bia, the cat.
Yeah, my cat just entered the chat and the room.
Can she do a sound off?
She was being very vocal. Did you guys hear her? She was doing her I'm scared meow, which is when she can't find me. She's like, yeah, she loves music history.
She is a big fan. Yeah. So at this point,
I need
anyone
a cat
who's listening
so
to
bad.
the pod, they should know. They should know what we're talking about. We're talking about music
And history.
So,
yes, musical history.
And history. So
and herstory. Not a lot of herstory, actually.
There's not a lot of herstory yet.
Yeah,
we'll get
mentioned
there.
4 women.
Which
and they've mostly been a man's wife.
Mostly, yeah. And even today, we do have a fun herstory moment.
True.
Welcome to Mostly True. It's like a podcast.
Yeah. So today we're just kind of wrapping up what we've talked about so far. Yeah, wrapping things up with Mozart, our little Zart, and then just
Zart.
talking about what's coming next and tying things up with a nice little bow.
I love it.
I love that.
Let's recap what we talked about previously. So,
yeah, because I wasn't there, so I want to hear.
Lainey wasn't there, so
all about it.
We have to fill her in on all the goss. Yeah. Emily, do you want to start? Do you want to round up?
Yes. For a moment, I thought I also wasn't there, but I remember now that I was. I was there.
Talked about the Zart.
We did. We talked about Mr. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, who we lovingly refer to as a man-child because he was a little bit of a trickster. He was a prankster, a problem, but he was also a prodigy, which unfortunately, when you're a man, that means you're going to go very far in life.
Nice alliteration.
No matter how destructive, thank you. No matter how destructive you are to others around you. But he worked all over the place. He spent a lot of time in Vienna. He's very well known for his time in Vienna. So we talked about the Marriage of Figaro, which is a very well-known Mozart composition. And the Marriage of Figaro picks up after what happens in The Barber of Seville. Which is another play that was very popular at the time. And the next work we will discuss of Mozart's is Don Giovanni, which is probably better known than the Marriage of Figaro, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially, so it's the second in the partnership between him and the Dupont, which we talked about last week. He's the librettist that came in and they did, I think, 3 big collaborations that were really well known. And so Don Giovanni is the second in that one. And probably, arguably the most performed, I think, of Mozart's operas. It's definitely got some complexity to it. It's
very dramatic.
Very dramatic. We're kind of starting to get into that world of opera, kind of like a little brief soiree into some of the German operas that can be really, really dark. I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit when we were kind of setting up opera at the very beginning, but I feel like this is maybe one of those big, super monumental moments when it comes to opera where we're starting to see crap, things can get dark. And
and Don Giovanni's not a good dude. He's a bad man.
Yeah.
So
do we want to break down the plot a little bit? It's kind of convoluted. But
if we can.
As best we can.
Do your best.
Okay, so there are a lot of characters and a lot of names and a lot of identity switching. But the basic plot is that Don Giovanni is this guy who's kind of hedonistic. And he stops at nothing to get pleasure from sex. And he engages in a lot of intercourse throughout the play, consensual and non-consensual, varying degrees of consensuality. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Should be.
Or consent.
Consent. I think
that's the one.
The word. Consensuality is good too.
I think that's
I
a
made
better
up a new
one.
word.
Sensuality.
I think it
because it combines.
I don't know.
Putting the sensual in consensual.
Exactly.
That's Don. Or putting
But
the
also
sensual
not.
in non-consensual. That's really Don Giovanni.
No.
Sorry.
Yes.
Bad man.
Yeah,
bad man.
he was the worst. And so just kind of tried to sleep with everyone's wife, pretty much. And then sometime in the play, a statue comes to life and steals his soul because he has been the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I believe he takes his soul to like eternal damnation.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's. I mean,
I
I
watched-
think that's true.
It's what happens. It just that's the
Yeah.
end of the play. Is he just gets like dragged down into hell essentially.
So
At
let
the
this be a
end.
lesson to you.
Exactly. The end,
Yeah.
the ensemble sings what is basically translated as, "Such is the end of the evildoer. The death of a sinner always reflects his life." And so yeah, he goes to hell.
Yeah. It's kind of like the first Ding Dong the Witch is Dead. You know?
Yes.
It's
and
like
So
the
true.
ensemble comes on, the Munchkins, but
the
like
Munchkins come on.
The Greek chorus.
A house
Greek
falls on
chorus.
Don Giovanni.
exactly.
Yeah.
We should do a
there's, like,
really good.
crossover.
They
Mashup.
should.
Wicked, I guess. Just
Exactly.
art. It's
Except
just Wicked.
Was
Wicked
the
Part
Wicked
2.
Witch really evil? I mean, I
Wicked
would
Part
argue not as
3.
much as him.
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember I think one of the, like in music history, one of the pieces, like one of the listening things was he has this catalog aria. And it's just the entire song is him just listing the different women that he slept with. And the whole thing is that he's been with like 2,000 plus women by the time the story begins. And then the entire show is him just trying to get with every woman that is on stage, it feels
Do you
like.
think Mozart slipped any names in there that he's gotten with?
For sure.
I'm sure. That's
Imagine
scandal.
that dropping. And
Like
Do you
going
think
in-
that
audience.
Mozart saw himself in Don Giovanni?
I think so. In some of the readings that I read, he definitely talked about how like Don Giovanni in a lot of ways, at least the opera itself, was kind of reflective of, or at least that Mozart wasn't afraid of that necessarily. And it could have also been DuPont as well. They might have like collectively been pretty okay with kind of sticking it to the man in some ways and like putting themselves into it. Because that was honestly one of the reasons that the Marriage of Figaro, we talked how the first opening was in Vienna and it did moderately okay. It opened
Yeah.
really well, but it closed within 9 performances. And some people might think that part of it might have been that he criticized nobility in the Marriage of Figaro. Like there's a lot of themes that are kind of critical on how nobility was at the time. And who's going to see these operas? They're all
Nobility.
noblemen. They're the ones who are all
Ooh.
footing the bill. So lots of people think that might have also been something that came into play when it came to his success in Vienna, was that he wasn't necessarily afraid to ruffle some feathers. And especially the way that it was like the court in Vienna specifically with, I think the Duke's name was Joseph.
Probably.
Probably. Something like that. But especially the way that it was kind of structured was he kind of had his leashes. His leash is on all of his subjects were pretty taut. And so him like talking down on the way that nobility was structured was probably something that didn't play very well.
That
It's just like
didn't
in
play
Euphoria
very well?
when they're like, "Is this fucking play about us?" I don't know if we're allowed
exactly
to say
like
bad words,
that.
but that's what they say in the show.
You're just referencing the show. I think we can.
Yeah,
I think I
it's a
have the
direct quote.
explicit thing on our podcast.
Oh, good.
Just as
Put
a
that
warning.
thing on.
And now
Just in case.
now we've justified it. So you
Now
did
we
your thing.
justified it.
Well, now
I
we
get-
can just say whatever the fuck we want, I guess. So I
Yeah,
won't do that, I
Mitch-
promise.
It's okay. We all know
It's
Mitch
so
has
good.
been holding back his
I've been
raging potty
holding
He
mouth
swears
the
like a
whole
sailor
time.
when you get him alone. Off
You
the
never
pod.
know. Off the pod. Off pod.
Off the pod.
Off pod. It's F-bombs.
OTP, off the pod. He's pretty crazy.
Oh,
You never know,
TP.
guys. You never know. But yeah, so that's Marriage of Figaro.
Wait, this
and then
this might
Don
be a dumb
Giovanni.
question. How much do you think an opera ticket cost? Like to see? I don't know if it was just the nobleman. It was probably pretty expensive, right?
I guess
What do you
it
think they
kind
were
of-
like gifted admission? I don't even
Yeah,
know.
I feel like it kind of
Right.
depends. I mean, I know we talked about it like way back when we were talking like in Baroque era that Venice, I think it was the first to have like a public opera house where anyone could buy a ticket and go. Because before that, it was just like, there wasn't necessarily a cost to the ticket. It was like all of these rich noblemen would just
Invite
invite their
only.
friends, and it was their opera house and everything.
Hmm.
So there was definitely tickets. Honestly, I don't imagine it was structured too dissimilar to how we think of them today, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But they definitely had more like box seats and all of those things. I think there was probably more separation between like the cheap seats and the expensive seats, like
I'm
with the
sure.
classes and everything. But I
Of
think,
course.
yeah, I mean, I would assume it would depend. And I think a lot of the opera houses were run by families, royal families and things like that. So it probably would have just depended on the families.
Word.
Yeah. Word.
Word.
Something also, as I was reading, that is important for us to keep in mind is that royalties aren't a thing yet, which I thought was
That's right.
really interesting. So it's not like every time someone performs Don Giovanni, Mozart is getting any sort of check written to him. So it's interesting because at this time, for composers to be successful, they had to be writing all the time. Every year they had to have things premiering, things coming out, music being performed, getting commissions. There wasn't really any way for them to, once their music was out there, like get money off of it once it's out.
That's tough.
Do you think other
So
people were performing Don Giovanni in his lifetime?
he
Is that
didn't
a dumb
live super
question?
long.
Probably.
So I think there would have been performances, at least of a lot of his music, that he didn't necessarily have any say over. You
Right.
know, he like there was no way
Yeah.
of him, like once his music got out there,
Mhm.
for him to really be able to know who's performing it. Like he's not able to say, "Oh, hey, you performed my music. I should be getting some sort of commission back from that."
Because there's no
Right.
rights to it, right? Like they don't have
But then
to
how would-
register, buy the rights, any of that.
But then how would they get the music? So say he has the transcript, would someone
Mhm.
else have to just transcribe it from listening to it? Or
I think
try
it
and
would
get
be a
his
mix of
transcript?
things. I think,
Well, wouldn't the publisher own it and then they would sell it that way?
yeah, I mean,
That's-
I think it's just a little bit different because like even I know we talked briefly, there was, I think it was Haydn, wasn't it, that worked on, he worked where he was on some like rights things in terms of like
Yeah.
artist rights. Like he was one of the first people to work on this, and they were alive around the same time. In fact, Haydn would have outlived Mozart, I believe. So Mozart, within his lifetime, there weren't necessarily a lot of rights for artists and their work yet. So, you know, and a lot of, like, think of all of the players in the orchestra too. They have the music. He's not necessarily getting it all back. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of, it's really hard at this time. Artists aren't necessarily, they don't have a lot of control over their work once it's out. There's no way for them to continue getting paid for it. It's very much, and I think this is maybe one of the reasons that we see so much work coming from all of these artists at the time, is because they have to.
Yeah.
They can't go a year
Right.
without premiering a symphony. They can't go many months without being commissioned to do something. There's not like they don't get to retire in the way that artists can today and live off of their royalties. They just have
Yeah.
to always be working.
So Don Giovanni was written in February of 1787. In 1779, Haydn was renegotiating his contract with the Esterhazy family, and he became eligible, allowed to write music for other people and sell his work to the publishers. Because previously, if you composed something for someone, like for a family who commissions you, they own the piece. So I wonder how that worked. If like he wrote it, obviously wasn't commissioned or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this was, Mozart was at the time, it wasn't uncommon, but it was becoming more common for composers to work freelance. And that was one of the things that Mozart did. Like, unlike a lot of the composers that came before him, where we're like, oh, they worked for the church. Similarly, like the church would likely own the rights to your music. Mozart was one of the first ones, I think, that we've been looking at that worked pretty much his entire life as a freelance composer. You know, he would take commissions. He would take commissions from places, but for the most part, he was doing it all himself rather than being a court composer or anything like that. So I think, you know, he also had to kind of chase down a lot more of the yearly commissions and money. And so there were definitely, we talked about it in the last pod. There were kind of some rumors he wrote to, he was part of the Freemasons, actually. Eventually he became a Freemason, and he wrote to one of his like brothers, I guess they call each other.
Brothers.
There
So
was like,
dorky. My
there's
brother.
like, there's some like letter that historians have found where he's like giving his like whole sob stories, like, oh my gosh, I'm broke, I need money. But then I think
Wow.
he always managed to make it back with whatever things he was working on. But he also was known for going off, getting paid this huge amount of money for like some commissioned work, and then showing back up home $0. They're like, where did it go? He's like, I don't know. And no explanation,
Gambling?
just wouldn't explain. Yeah. So he was,
Probably.
yeah, I mean, he was known
Nice.
for gambling, for drinking, for kind of everything that you can think of is probably
So his wife
where his money
isn't
went.
even getting rich from being married to him. Like, not only is he
That poor
unfaithful, she's
woman.
not even like getting a coin from it.
No, it
That kind
doesn't.
of sucks.
I mean, yeah, it sounds
It
like
really
they lived
does.
not necessarily impoverished, but you know, for him being as successful and as famous as he was known to be within his lifetime, the fact that
Right.
there's not a lot of stories of this great property that they had, or this great home, or any sort of wealth in that regard, you know.
Can you imagine how much money he would have accumulated in royalties like today?
Yeah, like if he was,
That'd
if
be
his
crazy.
estate was still picking up on all of that, like, oh my gosh, that'd be crazy.
That'd be insane. I mean, he must have descendants, but so much of his or everything is public domain now. So it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
no one's
I don't know how
no
that
one's really
works.
picking up any of that
I
anymore.
found an article called Mozart and Freemasonry. It was the last 7 years of his life. He was a Mason.
Well, yeah, he joined,
Wow.
he became a Freemason, and that was actually what will bring us to the next opera that he worked on. Well, not necessarily the next one, but like his next most famous one is Schikaneder. So we know this is not how you
Schikaneder?
pronounce the name. It's
It's been a topic of debate.
we've been going back and forth. I think it's Schikaneder.
Yeah, that's more appropriate. Yeah.
Sounds a little bit more appropriate. But this guy, Schikaneder, was this actor impresario.
That still doesn't sound right to me.
I think
Emily-
it's more like shikanator.
Yeah,
Like I
Emily-
think they're longer vowels. Shikanator.
Emily keeps saying it sounds like a
Shikanator.
slur.
Well, the way you're saying it, yeah.
Shikanator.
It's
'Cause
like a
you're-
very
you're
aggressive.
Emphasizing this so much.
Yeah,
Shikanator.
yeah,
That's why we're an explicit podcast.
exactly.
Because of this word.
Because even if it isn't offensive, it feels offensive.
Shikanator. He's such a freaking shikanator.
Shikanator.
Such a shikanator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. What were you saying about him before we
Well,
got derailed?
Shikanator was this actor, impresario, and also a fellow Mason
Mm-hmm.
that used to be one of Mozart's drinking buddies. And so at one
Oh.
point, yeah, I know. So at one point, Shikanator they were getting drinks, and he was like, yo, Mozart, I have this idea. Would you like to work on this Singspiel, which we talked about previously, what that is? But it's essentially like, it's like opera, mostly. It's like music with little spoken parts in between.
Mm-hmm.
Shikanator. I have a confession, you guys. I have a confession. I just had to Google Freemasons.
Have you seen that movie? What is that movie called? Mitch, you know it. You love it.
National Treasure?
National Treasure.
Oh, of course I've seen National Treasure.
Yeah.
Do they talk about it?
They're Freemasons. They're Masons.
I remember learning about it in
That's like
school.
their whole
I remember...
weird thing.
Mhm. Yeah. It's like the Shriners. Does that have anything to do with them?
I don't
Somehow
know.
they're connected.
I think the Shriners. Let's look that up too.
Somehow
Wait,
they're
can
connected. I don't know
I'm
how.
going to read this AI overview in case anyone out there
Illuminati.
at all didn't also know what we were talking about. Okay, a Freemason is a member of Freemasonry, kind of self-explanatory, the world's oldest and
No way.
largest fraternal organization, which uses allegories and symbols from stonemasons to teach moral lessons, promote self-improvement, and foster brotherly love and community service. Masons are men
Oh
of good
my
character who
goodness.
believe in a supreme being, but are not required to belong to a specific religion, with rituals focused on building character. Thanks, AI.
Whoa.
Mm.
Mitch, you were right. The Shriners is a fraternity for master masons.
Mhm.
So if you are like, I love Freemasonry so much. I want to join a second level of secret society within this secret society. That's so
you can
crazy.
become a Shriner.
Yeah, they wore a red fez,
Yes, they wear the hats.
the little hats, and they're really into like helping children. Basically, they
Yeah.
have a hospital. Fun fact. Well, it's not that fun. My grandpa, when he was a child, he had osteomyelitis, which is like a bone marrow disease, and he ended up in Shriners Hospital in Portland. And then later in his life became a Mason, and I think it's because of his time at Shriners.
Hey,
Like it
you know
saved his
what?
life. So
Wow.
yeah, I guess there's some Masons in my family. So
Yeah. So you're well
I'm
versed
basically
at this
Nicolas Cage.
You have the Mason blood.
I do.
point. You have the
Can't you
blood
tell?
of a Mason.
You have the blood of a Mason. Exactly.
You and
This
Nicholas.
is the skin of a killer, Bella.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. I also have to fact check myself because I've been saying DuPont, and it's definitely not DuPont because he's Italian, and you know
Yeah.
this. It's DuPonte.
DuPont.
It's okay.
DuPont. I was treating him like what? You would say that
DuPont.
if he was French, right? He'd be DuPont, right?
DuPont.
Right? But it's DuPont.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably more like that.
DuPonte.
I was
No,
really bad at French
DuPonte.
diction. I never really got that one.
Wait, he is Italian or he is French?
Lorenzo DuPonte.
Italian. Sorry.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening that cares at all,
De Ponte.
it's DuPonte.
That's how.
De
But he doesn't
Ponte.
really matter anymore because he didn't even work on this opera.
True.
But so, yes, Sony Schikaneder is with Mozart. He's like, let's do this thing. They start working on the opera. About a third of the way through, they realize someone published or premiered a show based on the same story. And they're like, we can't. And it did well. So they were like, we can't do this. So then they had to pivot. They kind of did like this overhaul of the story. And then they finally got to the end and premiered the work. And this was another one of Mozart's really famous operas, The Magic Flute.
Woo.
So it did well. And so I guess the difference with this one is unlike the other ones that he worked with Lorenzo da Ponte, those were all Italian operas. Whereas The Magic Flute is, I want to say it's in German.
Yeah.
So it's a German, technically it is a Singspiel, so opera adjacent. But yeah, another
so
one
it
of
had
his
dialogue.
very commercially successful. Yeah, so
that
there
the-
is some parts of it. That's what makes it a Singspiel. I am not as well versed with the opera, but yeah, there are going to be moments within it that have more spoken lines as well as singing. It's definitely,
So it's like a musical.
it's Mozart, so there's definitely going to be a lot of music, a lot of singing, but
Yeah.
it's kind of
It literally translates to sing play.
Mhm.
So fun. German is so literal.
Singspiel.
Singspiel. Sing
Yeah.
play.
Sing play.
Singspiel.
Yeah. So one of the funny things in one of the books that I was using as reference for this, it kind of ended the Mozart part with all of the, here they are 10 years later, like the classic
epilogue.
end of a 90s movie where it's
Yeah.
like it's the epilogue during the credits roll. So they kind
Stranger Things
it
season
showed,
5.
here's where they all went. So it's funny. I talked about it the last episode a little bit, but that Da Ponte moved to New York and ended up teaching at Columbia. But something that I didn't know until I was researching it again is that he also became a bootlegger on the side.
A
what?
boot what?
A bootmaker?
A bootlegger.
A bootlegger.
Uh-huh.
What does that
I
mean?
don't know why you were saying bootlegger.
Yeah, you said it in German.
But I love a bootlegger. He made booze.
He's just
Yeah.
a
Der
bootlegger.
bootleg.
Yeah. So on the side, he just decided that he was gonna, make some booze.
And this was in New York?
Make or sell in New York, yeah.
I love that.
Interesting
Just on the side, he
part-time
decided let me
split.
peddle some booze.
Professor and
Well, that's
bootlegger.
proof that education has never paid well. So,
Yeah.
Especially at Columbia.
True
Like,
that.
that's supposed to be
yeah,
a business.
geez, that's a very prestigious place. I wonder what the deal was with, what is the word? Tuition for college back then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
look it
don't
I
know.
up.
forgot that word completely for a moment. Wow, that must be
But
healing.
I also-
if I forgot that word.
Columbia.
But it would also have been, I would have assumed there would have been huge, the whole university would have been fronted in terms of money by at least these big ones like Columbia. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like the Rockefellers were,
Yeah, that totally feels
had
right.
tons of money in there.
Maybe it was just for the love of the game. He just wanted to make booze.
He just said, you know what I really love? I miss is booze.
I wonder if
It
he
says
and,
there
he
was
and
no
Mozart got
tuition.
crazy together.
No tuition.
It was
Wow.
free.
Because, well, this around
So
the
maybe
time
that's
of
why.
the American Revolution. Probably, right? 10 years later, 1780s.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
It would have been early 1800, mid 1800s. Like, he died in
Okay.
1838, and I think he
Okay.
moved to
Gonna look up
the
1820.
U.S.
That's like,
He was in the Americas 1805 to 1838. So big chunk, but
It was around
Still-
$800.
last half.
$800 is
That's an
over
amazing deal.
19,000 in today's currency. So still way cheaper than it
Well,
is.
okay.
Still
yeah.
way
I mean-
cheaper,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
honestly, 18,000 isn't that far off for
At the end of
Yeah.
the day.
at the end of the day. It's not that far off.
That's true.
For 1 year of school.
Yeah.
For 1 year
Yeah.
of school? I don't remember how much things
But I mean,
cost.
now it's probably like
I don't-
70,000 at
That's fine
Columbia,
with me.
right? 75 or something like that.
Yeah.
Another
feels right.
moment in the montage of Mozart's death. They talked a little bit about Salieri.
Oh, yeah.
There's kind of like, we didn't really talk too much about it because honestly, when it comes to like academic books and overviews of Mozart's life, it really doesn't play as much of a role as I think people want it to. It's kind of more of like a myth or legend, this whole like feud rivalry between Mozart and Salieri.
Yeah, there's that awesome movie, Amadeus.
Amadeus.
Oh, Amadeus.
Because when I was reading, it wasn't necessarily as much of a thing. In fact, when Mozart died, Salieri was actually one who conducted his funeral in Vienna. So I think there
Aw.
was probably a lot more mutual respect than like people actually, they want to, everyone
they
loves
want
a
there
good
to be
feud.
They want
tea.
drama.
Yeah,
They want
conflict.
the tea.
Yeah. Or it was Salieri's last laugh, and he was like, "I'm conducting your funeral, you dead bitch."
Probably.
Explicit. I'm letting loose. Yeah.
That's
The last one. Yeah.
That's perfect.
So hide your kids.
Yeah, exactly. Turn it off.
Hide them.
Hide them, yes. Put them away.
Wait, isn't the Magic Flute where the Queen of the Night has her solo? Am I crazy?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I don't
That
think
is
so.
correct.
No?
That's correct.
No or
Yeah.
yes?
No, that's
No,
correct.
it is. It is, yeah. Yeah, sorry, we're
Yeah.
just
Okay.
talking weirdly.
Yeah, and
Okay.
even when I was like reading, I think it's interesting because him joining the Freemasons also kind of plays into the story in the Magic Flute. Like, it's based on this kind of like fairy tale or traditional story, but especially when they did kind of like the rewrite, they ended up kind of pushing in a lot of those kind of Freemason ideals and virtues and the things that you kind of talked about when you gave that great AI overview.
But it was
it was
nothing.
interesting because as you were reading that, I was like,
Thanks.
oh, I remember them talking about that. Okay,
That's
and
so
one of my
interesting.
favorites in the montage post death of Mozart was his wife, Constance Mozart. So
So he had
obviously
one
she outlived
wife the
Mozart.
whole
He died
time?
pretty young. Well, he died at
Despite being a big hoe.
big hole. Yeah, she stayed, but
She
he also
stayed. Poor woman.
but he also died pretty young.
I
So
know.
there wasn't really a lot of time to leave.
rough.
But
Sure.
anyway,
How old was he
so he
when he
dies.
died?
And then she remarries.
Nice.
We
Good
knew
for
this.
her.
We talked about this last time.
It was like 38?
Yeah, it was. I think
Wow.
it might have been less than that.
35. 35.
35.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow, that's less than 10 years. No. Yeah. That's like 7
too.
years
Yeah.
older than
I'm
me
26 now.
right now.
Yeah,
Yikes.
you would be if you were Mozart. You'd be
Sucked.
dead soon.
Well, no.
You'd be dead soon.
I would not be dead. Okay. I'd have a good 7 years left. A lot can happen
That's a good
in
long time.
7 years.
It's time for you to become a Mason. That's when he did.
You're right. You're right.
Follow in
This
his
is the Mason
footsteps.
age. All right.
I just got
How
so
often?
excited.
The only
How
thing I
often
could
do you think someone like goes in, swears in to become a Mason, and they're like, "Why are you doing this?" Mozart, because of Mozart.
Because
Wait,
I have
oh my
7
God.
7
years
years.
left to live in Mozart
I just
years.
remembered.
They're like,
So,
what?
okay, going back to his wife, if I may,
Yes.
You
he
may.
tried to date that one sister, and
That's right.
she rejected him. And then he started dating the other sister, and then they got married.
Oh, dang.
So he did stay with one woman, but it was after the rejection of the other option, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it was
That's
like,
tough.
okay, I guess this is
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But
Wow.
yes, that's right. Because he didn't ever really want Constance. Poor
Yeah, it wasn't
Constance.
like
Poor
she didn't seem
what
to be
is
his
she
first choice.
doing?
But
She could have had better.
But she ends up winning in the end because she ends up remarrying. And it's also funny because he didn't want her, but then I guess they also liked the hanky-panky bedroom stuff, which ended up being a better fit,
Hanky-panky?
apparently.
Wait, could you explain hanky-panky?
Go off.
Hanky-panky.
please?
They liked the hanky-panky.
She would play
Like-
his.
Okay. I don't know
Sorry.
what this means. I feel like this has some more specific meaning that I'm not understanding.
They just enjoyed their bedroom time,
I
according
see.
to
Okay.
books.
Oh, God. The magic flute
But
is
anyways.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It just hit me.
Divine
I love how
inspiration.
unhinged this podcast is.
This episode is fantastic.
I think this is peak entertainment.
I agree.
I
It's our
agree.
best one yet.
Best one yet.
Oh, that's so funny.
I don't even feel like my thing about Constance is even interesting.
No,
At
keep
this
going. I'm
point,
sorry. I
I
derailed.
I've
wanna
had
us.
so many
know.
other things. Okay, but anyway, she marries this Danish diplomat, and then she also outlives him.
Wow.
And I think one of the
Feels like
funniest
she's
things,
maybe poisoning
this is
these
maybe
men.
like
I like
Hey.
that idea.
you never know.
Maybe.
But I think this maybe speaks to just like how important Mozart was at the time, because this Danish diplomat who married Constance dies, and his tombstone reads, "Here rests Mozart's widow's second spouse." Not
That's so insulting. All of
Not-
your identity rests in
That's awful. In your wife's
Not even his name.
ex-husband.
yeah, and not even
Oh my God.
here lies, Constance's widow.
Yeah.
Constance's second spouse. Here lies Mozart's
Mozart's
widow's
widow.
second spouse in stone.
That's so
That's
rough.
pretty brutal.
So
Damn.
honestly, I want it to be like her. She had something to do with it. The tombstone
Yeah.
guy's like, "What do you want it to say?" And she's like, "It'd be funny. Have it say this." You
Well,
know?
that would imply she didn't like the
She
Danish
memed
guy.
on him.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, that's a really, I don't know. That
Hmm.
they also were like hand engraving things at the time. So someone
Took some
spent
time.
days engraving that into
That's a
this
good
man's
point.
tombstone. It was a waste of his time. It was so upsetting.
Maybe it was Mozart.
So-
He wasn't really dead after all. I don't know.
His
Oh, that's a good
Or
twist.
his ghost.
That's a screenplay right there.
Write it down.
ghost art. No.
What the
No
title
one
would
steal
be,
this
"Here
idea."
rests Mozart's widow's second
Widow's
spouse.
second spouse. Perfect. Blockbuster.
The story centers around
That's
this
the name
random
of the
Danish
play.
diplomat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. Sounds
Struck
really
down
good
in
to
his
me.
prime by Mozart's ghost.
All right. So that has been the Zart. And- Mozart. So we've covered a lot over the 2 episodes. We've talked a lot about this man child, if you will, and we are closing out. We're closing out the classical period, and I am excited to move into the next one. Because for me, it's like top 2 or 3. It's top 2 or 3 in terms of musical eras. We're talking about the Romantic,
Yeah.
And who doesn't love romance,
And it's almost Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Perfect. I mean, we totally planned this.
It's almost like we
This is
planned it
not
or
a
something.
coincidence at all.
Not at all. We are not just now realizing that. So we're going to talk about the romantic time
We
period.
should make some of those memes that are like Valentine's ones, you know? You know what I'm
Yes.
talking about?
Kind of.
For our Instagram.
I'm on board. Yeah.
Where it's
I'm
like,
on board.
but
Absolutely.
like the composer's heads.
I'm Mozart, you. And there's like a picture of Mitch, like
Yeah.
Make a crazy face.
But Mitch with like a powdered wig.
Yes, we like added a little wiglet
Yeah.
on. He's got a fluffy collar.
I Mozart you.
Okay, I'm gonna do
That's
that
so
after
good.
since it's only 8
Don't
o'clock for
balk
me,
my
I'm
heart.
gonna clock in and make some freaking Valentine's memes after this.
I love
In the
it.
sick.
They'll
So
go
good.
straight on the gram.
Literally.
Perfect.
But anyway, yeah, we're super excited to go into romantic time period. And yeah, I think with that, are we ready to close out?
Oh yeah.
We're ready.
It's
Well,
been real.
It's time.
It's been real. It's Mitch.
Lady. Oh,
You guys really said at the exact same time.
Damn, I thought we did a good job. To me, it was staggered, but
yeah. Delay.
damn.
I'm Lainey.
I'm Emily,
And I'm Mitch.
and
And
this
you've
has
been listening.
Been Mostly True podcast.
Podcast
Yes.
by New
Spark
Spark
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All
In
right.
sync bonus.
There we go. End
Okay,
of
good job,
episode.
guys.